Hi, I'm Jim, and I'm working a lot with clients that are putting a lot of attention onto website design, specifically for mobile. And one of the main things I'm noticing is that we are not paying enough attention to the spaces, the use of spaces when it comes to these websites being translated into the phone. So we personally call this the real estate treatment, and we ask ourselves, is the content we put on the top of your phone equally important as the one you have on the bottom? Well, of course the answer would be, well, no, because we're going to be losing people and they are not keen to go to the bottom of our page. And so if we have this concept and we apply it all across, we can then say, okay, how can we optimize it? Because that means that the very first thing a user sees on the top of the page is the most important, right? And so what are we doing about it? How do we treat that section? And I've been analyzing many websites and seeing that we are neglecting that in many ways. So let's talk about this more, because it is important to get more conversions. So this is just a photo of the Central Park in New York, talking about real estate spaces. This is one of the most expensive ones in New York and in the world. So we could say this is the most important one across the nation. So I'm thinking, how can we translate this concept into mobile? Well, one way to do it is to think that the first screen that someone sees on any mobile device, emphasis when I say that any device, not just the new versions of the phone, but actually older versions too. That information you see that there is the most relevant that people will see. And so we need to think that they will have a couple of seconds to see if they understand what you need to offer, if the promise they received before going to your site is actually being delivered, and if you have something more important than the competitor, more into what the customer is asking. So all that information needs to be here in this first screen. And so it's really important that we just don't make our website responsive from desktop to mobile, but actually we optimize the site to reflect on this first screen what users need to see. And to tell about this importance, we can tell that Google, a couple of months, almost a year ago, incorporated this mix with something called the Lighthouse Report into their speed test. I will share the speed test URL below this video, so you can try with your own site. But what is the important aspect they added? It's not just the score or the breakdown and all. It's this section, you see, when it says first contentful paint and first meaningful paint. Why is so important to Google, and what does it mean? Well, it means that we are now paying attention on how fast the first bit of content takes to appear on one site. It's not just anymore the fact that we are calculating the total seconds that it takes for a page to load. It's just the first bit that is really important, because those are the ones that are going to decide if the user will continue their journey across the site or if they're going to go away. And so Google brings this breakdown here, which is quite useful. And the meaningful means what Google interprets as the part of the site that start talking to you, like content, the title. Whereas the contentful paint is just when we start to see the colors on the background. It's good to have the two of them, because if the page is loading and you start to see that is loading some colors in the background, you're like, okay, something is happening. Anytime soon I'm going to see the rest of the page. And so your anxiety actually goes down. And then the meaningful paint is when you start to see the title. Okay, I can start navigating the site and see if this site is for me or not. Now, imagine that these numbers go in red after they go after 3 seconds. So that's how much importance in terms of seconds Google pays to these areas of the site. And so if we see examples, and I just browse any random example now, by no measure, I'm just picking in a specific site, and this could happen to the biggest site you can see for e-commerce, or a tiny one-page site, landing page. The treatment is the same. This what we are seeing here are screenshots I took with this with this OnePlus 6, and it's safe to assume that the size of the screen is actually quite big, and even phones that are older will actually see less. And so I'm going to divide this image. I'm going to do a breakdown from the real estate point of view on what they have done correctly, what are the pros and what are the cons, and what would I change. So let's do a bit of an analysis. Let's start with the Smile Dental logo and the menu. I will put it a green because it's quite succinct. It doesn't take much space. It tells you who they are and offers you the menu. Now, one could say that nowadays that menu that is called the sandwich menu is not that relevant anymore, because it implies that people need to go and do a click. It's better if you have part of the menu already there to be seen, like 2 or 3 sections that are key, so people just can click that beneath the logo, for example, and go directly instead of having the sandwich. But all in all, I think that part of the design is quite good, because it doesn't take much, and it has all the information they need to put there. You might even add a phone number. You have room for that too. Now let's go to the middle part, which I'm going to put an orange in the sense that it's not as good, it's not as bad. It's not as good because the image, it really interferes with the reading. There's no clarity. I understand these guys try to put this smiling guy where you can see that he's proud of his teeth, but at the same point, you're trying to read something, and it's very distracting to have that beneath. And there's a lot of space on the top and at the bottom that is actually not helping to show all the information they could. But it's not entirely read, because at least they have a title and they have a subheading that says we are open 7 days a week with free examination. So they address some of the things that their customers will be after, and they have a really clear call to action. Online consultation, click here, let's go. It could be better, yes. It could be more clear and take less space. It could reserve the space for specific fixed sections to give people the advantage of just jump to different areas they might want to go, because safe to assume not all of them will go to the online consultation or want to go to that part first. And now we have this bit which is completely red, and you know why. It's just cutting an image. It's part of the content, and this happens because, as I mentioned before, the responsiveness makes this section to go showing different part of this image depending on the resolution you have on the phone. But ideally, on one optimized model, you won't have anything breaking down like that. You will have a title, you will have a section, you will prepare for different versions. You can do that. Now let's see. This is a global finance company that says relief measures for COVID-19. Okay, so from the top again, always from top to bottom, similar as the example we just saw. The brand is quite succinct over there, even though it's quite long in terms of what they say, and they have the sandwich menu and doesn't take much space. That's great. The body, again, we have an orange in the sense that it's quite clear, more clear than the example we saw behind. And the title goes straight to the point: customer financial relief measures for COVID-19. So I know what this is about, because a global finance company could be about so many other areas. But then we have these 2 call to actions COVID-19 support team. So what does it mean? I'm gonna click there, and what's gonna happen? The different options that are available to you. Which options are those? And then updates is like a blog updates or updates regarding COVID-19 in terms of what the government is doing or what's going on. So it's not that clear. It seems to me, again, we have a case of an automatically adjusted design from website homepage from desktop to mobile. And look, when you scroll this page, you will see that actually it's kind of uncovering part of the form, but it's really messy. It's really hard to understand how does it work, in the sense that when you scroll, you see more content for it. So it's not the right place or right way to show it. If you are to have a contact us form, you can just have an arrow. You can have something that says click here to see our contact us form. You have so many ways to solve it, but never leave it halfway through, especially when it's confusing, when you scroll up and down and the form becomes fixed. Now, sheets. This one is from UK. So let's see what's going on at the top. Well, I'm putting a red because there's a lot of space taken here. Between the brand and the white spaces there. And by the way, we call these white spaces are called negative spaces in the world of design. And so from the get-go, we are taking so much space here. And I need to ask myself, is it that important for me to tell everything about my brand, my logo on the face of users, or is it just to be visible enough for people to understand this is my brand and actually focus on them? So this body or segment is not that bad. It has a lot of good stuff, although it could be better in my view in terms of how they use the space. So it says buy with confidence. We are still delivering. It's like a fixed image there. The shop now button is really trapped between the text and the reviews, and you don't know if you click those reviews will take you to the page of the reviews. Can you actually see those reviews? And so in this case, it's interesting because in one hand they have all these white space at the top, everything is spacey, and then in the other hand they compress everything here. There's a lot to be read here, and they will actually profit by separating this more. The reviews they have cannot be more important in terms of size than the shop now button. The shop now button is the main call to action, and as it happens, psychologically we see that the elements on a page that have bigger size are the ones that are more important. We assume that even without reading. So the reading you can do here is that the sheds logo is actually more important than the shop now, than the reviews and everything. Number two, what your eyes will see is either the phone call on the top or the word reviews. What happens with the title? The title should be the main piece that everyone sees, because the title is the one that actually addresses what people are after. However, it's not being that prominent. And so we have a combination of factors between the spacing and the lack of importance given to the elements that are important. And that's why I'm putting the orange. It's not entirely red because they have a combination of a title, they have the reviews are a trust signal that is really important, and they even tell you 9,236 trusted customer reviews. They are not just saying 5 stars, they're being honest. I think that helps a lot. This section, in stock with delivery available, again is having this white space in between, which could be taken care of in the sense that the font could be bigger, or you could bring more information that is available, but no. This negative space shouldn't be used in this way. It shouldn't exist in here. And then yes, you have what we mentioned before. You have sections that you can scroll and actually you can jump all the reading and say, hey, this is what I need, and go for it. And specifically, they have badges. You know those badges that says star, buy, or best price. If you keep scrolling, some of them won't have any of those badges, and that's good. That guides people to say, hey, look, this is what people are buying, and this is what you need to guide people to the specific product as fast as you can with the less amount of scrolling and clicks. And then we have LA tires. I normally try to look for pages that are from US, UK, or even here from New Zealand. It really makes no difference. The good thing about it is that you can analyze them from the same point of view. It applies to the human behavior that sees the websites almost in the same way. I have a theory that why the Amazon site is so successful regarding the lack of the branding, and I think that is because different to the sites, Amazon they do a really good job into optimizing for anything, desktop and mobile. So let's take a look. So the first part is quite good. You have a neat find us, call us, sandwich menu. Okay, it's on the left, but it's okay. It opens fine. It's findable. But then look at this, the logo. Couldn't this logo be in a wide form, smaller version inside the upper menu? Surely they could. So now we are taking extra space that we shouldn't, and we need to say it again. Every inch of space, every centimeter of space you are wasting pushing all the content down, it will mean that in a year you are going to be losing a lot of clients. The bigger is your site, the more traffic you get to your site, the more people you will lose. So it's imperative that we maintain this optimization, and specifically on the first page, just to be neat on what people actually are after. Now, orange in the sense that you have a filter there, which is good because it's a way for people to actually jump on the sections that you need, and you have these sections that look clickable. We don't know if they are clickable, but at least look clickable, like a sections, fixed sections to go just to shop for wheels, for assistance, repairs, tires. But the problem is that this page is not telling you why you should buy from them. I mean, if you are an existing customer of LA Tires, it's fine. Just go to the section you want to go. Well, what happens if you are a new client and you have a tab open with many of these other companies selling tires? You go to this section and say, hey, I have tires. That doesn't convey a value proposition to tell you why these tires are better than the other ones, what kind of service you get. Like we offer financing. Maybe that's the main point of difference. So why not putting that on top? And so that's why I'm giving this the orange side of things. And then the last part is clearly a red because it's a fixed section that will accompany you ever. I would prefer to have a call to action there. That call us that is on the top, it could be just one click there, very important. And you know why it's important? Because when you grab the phone, right, and you go to any page, the finger has a really hard job to reach the top of the phone. However, when you have something on the base, very easily you can just grab and click with your finger. And that's why you want to have something accessible and use it there. Instead of social media and like, why would I share or go to your page? I have no reason for it, at least not in this page. So definitely that shouldn't be placed in that place and space, and that's why I put it red. So this is an example of how you can categorize and see the real estate space on your mobile phone. It's as simple as grabbing your phone, take a screenshot of your homepage or your landing page, and just revise it and see how much space are you taking in the different elements you have. How are you using this page, and If people are actually deciding whether to buy from you or not based on this specific page, will they do it? Or will they need to scroll down just to find out more for you? And remember, you can always have the relevant information you need for them. You can always compress things, simplify things, just to be clear enough for users or customers to see what are you offering, what is the main point of difference from other competitors, and why they should buy from you today. So remember, next time you have the chance, just revise your pages, and you can always go back to your designers and say, hey guys, surely we can compress this content and bring simplicity to it.